We're live!
We are indeed live. Welcome, not welking, everybody to In the Tank. How you doing, my beautiful co-host?
I'm excellent, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very, very good.
Good.
We've been busy little bees.
We have.
We've been busy little bees in this sweltering hot heat. God damn, man. Like, it's been so hot. It's like a nuclear
Oh, it's been awful.
summer.
Yeah.
It's been hard, hasn't it? It's been rough.
We've got
Have
like
you tried
10
the hobby
days.
in this weather? Because it's just
I've been
the
hobbying
worst.
non-stop in this weather. It's been awful. I've been sweating. It's been terrible.
How your contrast paint's been working in this heat? Because like,
Yeah, they have.
my
They're
washes
fine.
have
You just
been
got to shake
going
them
a
up
bit
a bit
weird.
more often. You got to shake them up a bit
fair
more
enough.
often. That's fine. Like I find them all right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's not ideal. I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, we've been
Less
busy.
than.
We've got like 10 days until we're battling, or roughly 10 or 12 days until we're battling.
Yeah, no.
And then we both need to get our lists painted up to a decent standard before then.
I'll
So,
be there.
Yeah,
Like,
I might be borrowing a
even-
couple of Sam's models, his Night Lord models, but I'll be, filling the rest in myself, which will be good. So,
Well, this kind of brings us into our first topic then, Ed. So what have you been
well,
working
funny
on?
you should ask. I am working on Alpha Legion. So we were talking on stream the other week. We basically had like a little
Suit
poll
you,
go
sir.
up in the Battle Barn stream asking what people would like to see as my next sort of project, because I've got a few to work on as always. And it was basically between like Final Day GSC, which is the Tyranids sort of detachment for them. It was between them, AdMech, and CSM. And CSM was the most popular. Just pipped it at the post. So I've doubled down and I've basically given up on the word bearers, which is what I was originally doing, because I've given a load of them to Russ and he's doing word bearers. It doesn't make sense for us both to be doing the same one, because if we ever end up playing a mirror match, it's just going to be a complete clusterfuck of knowing whose army's what and what's going on.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So I was like, I'm going to go back to my roots, paint my Alpha Legion, which I've always wanted to do and I absolutely love anyway. So I thought, it's very me. It's an awesome scheme. It matches my Imperial Knights / Chaos Knights that I've done, because they're like agnostic. So that would be amazing. So I can use them as
That'll
allies if I
display
need to.
That will absolutely display well.
Oh,
it
it
looks
looks
so
wicked.
cool.
So that's what I've been working on. I've already done 5 Chosen. I just need to base them. And then I'm working on another 5 Chosen and Abaddon and Cypher at the minute. Once they're done, I'm going to base all of those up. And then I'm moving on to doing like 6 bikes. So that'll be fun. Yeah. What have you
I love
been
your
working
scheme,
on?
by the way. Your scheme's lovely.
Thanks, buddy, yeah.
Like, I might add,
It's-
because you've gone for like very quickly.
Cool.
You've gone for like a metallic sort of turquoise vibe. haven't
Yeah.
you, for that one.
Yeah, it's I think it's I can't remember what it is. Croxical
Pterodon
scales or
turquoise?
something. No, I think it's
a little bit
Croxical
lighter,
scales.
a little bit lighter colour.
Yeah,
That's
I was doing some tests originally when I did the Knights, and I didn't want it to come out as like too dark and too blue. So because then it starts to like drift into Night Lords / almost Ultramarines territory. So I wanted to keep that little sea greeny, bluey kind of element to it, and Croxical was just bang on for that. It wasn't too light. And I'm not doing them regular Alpha Legion either, but I'm doing my own twist on them, because I don't think green pops that well against the blue, generally speaking. So what I've done is I've got like this really cool blue and then like a sort of almost neon pink glow effect on all the eyes, weapons, plasma. And then I'm doing a Planet of Sorcerers style base, which is like a bluey, purpley pink base with like these pink and blue alien tufts, and it just looks so cool when it all comes together.
Nice. That's some colour wheel theory, that is.
It is proper colour wheel. We've talked about this before on the pod, so that's,
Yeah, man.
taking my own advice there. Yeah, it pops nice. What have you
Love
been
it.
working on?
No, very quickly, aside, I'm glad that you're doing that scheme, because it suits you. And if you're going to do CSM, you might as well do the sneaky boys.
Exactly.
So it works.
I've got a Lord Discordant I'm going to be doing as well, and that boy, he absolutely fucks. He's so
colour?
cool.
Oh, he's good now as well. Now he's quite good.
He is
now
good,
he's got
yeah.
the update. He's actually quite strong. What's going to be the colour of his cloak for you for that? Do you know?
So
yet
all of my
or not?
cloaks are basically, the leather is like a browny kind of leather, and all the fur is black. So I'm doing like brown, dark brown. I think it's Gariatsua kind of brown. for like
cool.
all of the leathery bits. I just didn't want it to sort of detract from the model. There's already a couple of punchy colours on there, so I didn't want to start bringing more colours, bright colours in, like purples and or greens or whatever. So I was like, I'm just going to kind of mute down a lot of those details, and then just keep the metallics nice and shiny, and then all the nice bright colours, because they're quite shiny guys. Like I'm doing sort of a Stormhost silver dry brush over the whole model to make all of the trim pop. It looks nice. You'll see when I'll put some pictures in the Discord.
Lovely.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. I'm really enjoying painting them. I'm having a lot of fun, actually. Funnily enough, having come from painting GSC and Necrons, like Necrons are dull, GSC are too fiddly. I think I've hit like the perfect middle ground.
They're really fun. Like Chaos is really fun to paint in general.
Oh, they're great.
It's just cool. There's so much cool stuff.
I love the models, and doing reverse trim is kind of weirdly satisfying because obviously you sort of like I spray them silver. I put a wash of Basilicon grey all over, and then I Stormhost silver dry brush. So all of that's quite like mindless. All of those steps.
Yeah.
And then I just ink in the armor panels, which is fiddly because some of them are kind of in weird spaces between like in their groin and armpits and stuff. So it's not the easiest to do sometimes, but it's a lot easier than painting the fucking trim. So that's great.
Nice. Nice.
Talking about trim.
So yes. So trim, get that trim sorted. So yes, I am trying to fight my bestial urges.
I've been trying to keep you on the straight and narrow hard the last couple of weeks.
It's been so hard
because you're so shit. Because every time you're like, I'm like, Russ, how are those Death Guard coming along? And you're just sending me pictures of models that I've already seen painted from like months ago in your cabinet. And you're like, they're coming on great. I'm like, fuck off. I know you're painting Beastmen, and then you put pictures of all your like. I've just built my whole Beastmen collection because they arrived. I'm like, Russ, you've got 2 weeks. You need to get on. And you're like, I've got plenty of time because everyone's away. I'll have a whole week. Bullshit. Get on with them.
Well, I've actually made the... That's spanking.
I'm on to you.
Look, all of my Beastmen all arrived at once, right? So I've had like waves of Beastmen arrive, and honestly, like my love of the square bases is becoming absolute, right?
I've had to dad the shit out of you with this. Been a nightmare.
I have been persevering. The last like week or so, I've been persevering. So like, I made loads of inroads in the last week. I've got to the point where all my trim on everything is done. My dredge models are done.
Yeah,
so
nice.
they just need basing.
Yep.
So that actually is a lot. That's 10 Black Lords and 6 Death Shroud. That's loads, right? Then I'm currently doing my other 6 Death Shroud, which is nuts, and a Lord of Virulence with them. And then I've just got to finish off some Poxwalkers, and I'm nearly there with the Bloat Drone as well. So I'm actually...
Amazing.
It's weird. I'm bringing everything together, and it's all going to just happen all at once. And I'm doing all the stages simultaneously, so I'm going to do all the basing at the same time.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it.
It'd be totally
It's
ready.
one of those weird ways I always find, like, if you do a whole army or half an army like that, it's quite backbreaking because every stage feels like it takes forever, and like you just don't feel like you're making much progress. But then all of a sudden at the end, it's just done. Yeah, exactly. It's a good way of doing batching.
It'd be at a really nice standard because, like, I will do all my highlights and stuff afterwards, but it'll look good for like where I'll be at for it, if that makes sense. But like, it's going to be my crazy Terminator list against you for the CSM. So it will be like
for that.
Brains versus Brawn with that match. Like, you're running Renegade Raiders, right?
I am running Renegade Raiders. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be nuts.
It's going to be brutal.
Because, like, dude, everything will happen all at once because I've got like a lot of Terminators in my list for that. I've got like 25 Death Guard Terminators for that.
Fucking hell. That's going to be a slog. That's going to be a real slog.
It's going to be 10 Blight Lords and like 2 units of 6 Death Shroud.
Have they gone up to 4 wounds
characters.
Death Shroud?
I hope so. That would be amazing.
I feel like they have. Yeah, I feel like they have.
I don't know if they have. I'll
Double
tell you
check
what,
your app. Standby caller. I'm almost sure that they went up.
But either way, that's going to be a completely different dynamic in that game, right?
Yeah,
so that's going to be
it's very
fun.
Interesting. I've got quite a spicy little list for the Renegade Raiders. You know, it's going to be
good detachment.
Yeah, 12.
Oh,
I told you.
Mm-hmm.
I've got
Oh, wow.
I've got like
okay.
12 noise marines in my list, Russ.
Jesus. That's amazing. That's going to
12
do
noise
work.
marines. A Lord
That's going to do
Discordant.
work. God damn. God damn. That's gonna be a nuts.
wait.
Dude, that's going to be a bloodbath, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Really beautiful.
Ooh. So you got 12. So I take it you're doing them in one rhino. You're going to pack them in a rhino and just like
Yeah,
pop them
I'm going to sort of juggle around with a rhino because I've got like some a Chaos Lord with the 5 guys, 5 chosen as well.
Sure.
So I think what's probably going to happen is 5 noise marines will be hanging out of the rhino, and then the other guys they'll all be in. I'm going to be doing some juggling depending on how it works.
Sure.
What you can get is like full rerolls to hit and wound if you come out of a rhino. So the Chaos
Sure.
Lord and the Chosen want to just come out, advance and charge and blow something up. With full rerolls to hit and wound.
Oh, yeah, nice.
It's going to be read.
Nice. But this is it. You got to make sure you kill me, or not at all.
I have
because
If
I
there's
if
no
I
point
hit
half-assing it.
if I touch
I'll
you,
die.
you're fucking dead.
But there's some cheeky shit you can do with this detachment.
Well, I've also got some cheeky shit that I can do as well.
I know you have. Don't you just like continuously do mortals to me or some bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I've also got some.
It's going to be so much fun. You might actually win a game on the barn.
Speaking of that, that does lead us to our really juicy first topic, and that was our recent barn game, which obviously I don't really want to ruin it. Well, you kind of ruined it now, but like, go and watch it, please. I implore you, anyone, and that reminds me. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Discord. Let us know as a community that you do what we're doing. Check out the Battle Barn, please. Check out Eddie's 40k and Count Rescular Minis on Insta. It's always lovely to see you on Insta. But my point is, go and log on to the Battle Barn. It was the recent Dark Angels versus Gene Stealer Cult game that we played.
God, what a game that was.
And I have to say, Ed, on a personal note, that was my favourite game of 40k that I've ever played.
It was so swingy. No, you didn't. You did very well.
I was well behaved.
I was impressed.
I had well timed profanities. Jesus, man, that game was unreal.
It was very intense.
And we had a lot of people that was mega complimentary about it afterwards, where they were like, "That we had our ass puckered for like that entire game."
You did. We had so many like ups and downs
on the edge
in
of
that.
their seats.
I think someone said that they've experienced every human emotion possible in that game.
Yes. Well, I was shocked at like how easy that could have been for me on a personal note to be tilted as, because
you did so well not
go well
tilting
for me
early on.
Did not go well for me early on. Was epic. It was epic.
Yeah, it was.
But yes, go and check it out. It was ridiculous. We were both on top form that game. Like, it was nuts.
We were. Also, thank you to our supporters, our Patreons, etc. For those of you that do support the channel, it helps us cover our costs. You may have noticed that we've dropped the intro sort of segment at the beginning. It's just to save time because I've got so much stuff to paint at the minute. So we're dropping that, and we're probably going to have to change the music as well at some point. But we're getting there with it, slowly but surely.
It's fine. When it goes further along, we just pay an editor. It's fine.
Sure.
Jazz
exactly.
it up a bit.
254 subscribers.
Oh, well, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
It's good.
We'll get there.
You've got to touch base with people. It's all good.
We do. We love doing it anyway, so it's all good.
It gives me an excuse to hang out with my mate as well. My best
exactly.
mate.
Likewise.
But yes, dude, games can be so close. But doing it on the barn, I mean, we both made mistakes in that game. Arguably,
we did,
right? I think in our defence, the fact that we played half as well as we did under a performing context, which for anyone who knows, playing it on stream is a very different energy. But also, it was hotter than Mordor in that fucking room.
It was
lights on and no aircon. So the fact that we were doing that, honestly, dude, I felt like death afterwards. Like, I was dying. Like, I was so like,
it was hot,
mashed afterwards.
Yeah, proper
dude,
clag,
nuts.
Yeah,
clagger.
Yeah,
and
stick
also
sack.
that we had Felix. And also, especially for me, and also that Felix was around for the ride as well. Bless him.
He was good. Well, we needed him in the end because the stream programming shit the bed a little bit, so he helped us through.
Well,
but
yeah,
it's all fixed.
Got a little bit sensitive.
It did. Yeah, it was like, no, I don't fancy streaming tonight.
No, get away.
Actually, no, fuck you. Yeah.
But please check it out. Like, let us know what you think. And honestly, the next game I think is going to be another one where we're just.
Hopefully.
Oh my god, dude!
I can't wait.
No, I have a funny feeling.
Oh my god!
I have a funny feeling It's going to be a game of pure lethality. Like it's going to be a good old chaos.
I think it's going to be a real
conflict.
uphill struggle for me, I feel. Death Guard are in a good place. I know you're not running the most meta detachment, but
I'm not
just
at all. By the
good.
way,
Like, really just good.
I think that just on the raw data sheet alone, I think I have the advantage.
Yeah.
But my list is not at all a normal list. And it's going to be the same. It's going to be good for me because it's going to be a tester game for the Maelstrom event at the weekend.
You're running Morty, aren't you?
No.
You're not running Morty? Oh, interesting.
No.
Exciting.
No Morty at all. Can't afford it.
Just tons of termies.
Can't afford him with all my Lord of Contagions running around, getting back up again. Thank you very much.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. Jeez.
Do you like him, do you? Do you like a lot of
You got
Lord
3
of
of the
Contagions?
fuckers.
2.
Oh, thank God for that. Oof.
Yeah. Well.
Savage. Savage.
And I got 2 of those, Typhus.
Yep.
And a Lord of Virulence.
Yeah.
There's a very important reason for him.
I'll tell you what, I'm in trouble. Oh, wow.
And a Demon Prince.
Yeah. Nice.
The whole horde of...
I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Log on.
Hopefully it'll be a bit cooler as well.
It'll be on a Tuesday
it's
as
the
well.
15th on a Tuesday. Tuesday the 15th. So basically just under a couple of weeks now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, yes, go and check out the In the Maelstrom, which is hosted by Michael Core and the Didcot Games Club.
Yeah.
I am going to that, and I'll see some of you beautiful people at that. And I'll be running that
away,
list that I'll be
unfortunately.
playing on stream. So, yeah, you fucking slacker. Right, so first proper topic in inverted commas, because this came up in conversation and it's triggered me a lot in regards to quote-unquote people saying that I'm a meta chaser and all of this nonsense, right? Faction loyalty. Why do players have it? Why is it such a huge part of the game? Obviously some people don't have it, but it's weird, right? Like, you kind of, when you go to events and stuff, your first kind of thing that people ask people are like, what are you running? What are you running? What are you running? And you gotta go, your faction? Do you know what I mean? You gotta go, that faction? And I kind of associate people with factions, weirdly.
Yeah.
That I kind of go, oh, that's Warboss John's Berserkers or Orcs, or like, it just kind of happen. You just kind of go, that's it. Or now Apollo's Emperor's Children now, right? It's kind of like part of it. How do you feel about this right off the bat? Like, do you think there is such a thing as faction loyalty in the game?
I think there's a sort of two-pronged reason for why people have it. I think first off is you have this sort of like early investment in a faction because you love it from the lore perspective, or you liked a particular set of models or model or whatever it is. So you sort of get into it. But I think the main reason is sunk cost fallacy.
Sure.
So people buy an army and collect it for so many years that it's almost to the point where it's like, I can't fucking buy another army at this point, because like you and me sitting on 10,000 points probably of like for you Dark Angels and for me Necrons, at some point you're just going to be like, I might as well just keep going. And like, it's such a backbreaking thing to look at starting a new army, and you're like, oh my god, I'd love to, but like I can't.
Even if your play style kind of evolves, right, over time. Like, I've noticed that I kind of joke that I play my Dark Angels like Chaos Space Marines, like
you do.
Where in as much as like I am so aggressive, like I'm such a naturally aggressive player to the point of self-destruction. And that isn't necessarily the best way to play Dark Angels. No,
not always.
I can't help myself. But then when I play Chaos Space Marines and stuff, it's like,
you're having the time of your life, weren't you?
This just it just clicks. So it goes, oh yeah, this is how I should play this faction, right?
Yeah.
So like, even if you don't have that sort of headspace, like you kind of, and you're right. I think it is that investment thing where you just go, right, I'm keeping on top of this faction all the time throughout.
Especially if it's Marines,
editions.
Right? You know, Marines is one of those ones where you have so much shit to collect and so many models, and it just gets absolutely ridiculous like over time. So I think a lot of people will get into like Marines. They'll have been painting something like salamanders, And then just look at it and they're like, do you know what? I'd love to play something else, but I'm just going to keep painting them as salamanders. And it's easier now, luckily, because they've kind of made like the detachments like Legion agnostic, so you don't really need to worry about what you're playing.
So I think it's a really good idea, by the way.
It is. Although I'm a bit confused as to the roadmap showing salamanders, so we'll find out what's going to happen there, whether or not they're trying to go back to it, or whether or not it's just a sort of themed detachment. We'll find out. But like, it is easier than ever now to do that. But obviously, I think when you have a massive collection of an army, it's very hard to sort of start steering away from that. And I think that I'm finding that difficult even now, like being luckily lent a load of models by people like Sam and Paul, etc. Like, and like now Luke coming up as well.
Is still in you, right? That Necron hook is still deep in there.
I'm still painting shit. Like last week, I painted a bloody monolith finally, which was great. You know, I loved it. I've been wanting to do it for forever, and I was like, finally pull my finger out and just get the damn thing done. But like, you know, there's always something else of your main faction to paint, right? And you kind of have to make that decision of, do I drop 300 quid, 500 quid, 800 quid if you're paying AdMech on a new army, and then start and get that, like, you know, ball rolling, or do I just keep chugging with my faction that I've been playing forever? And it's a hard one, I think, to sort of bridge away from.
I think it's something that you can never let go of, that main army, right? Like, and you know, I'm currently going through my. Well, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to do that. You get too emotionally attached, right?
No,
and
fuck that.
And I think that, you know, I feel like I'll be in a nice place in a year or two where I've got like all of my main sort of factions painted and done, and I'm like, okay, now all I've got to do is just keep on top of this, right? In terms of keeping that together. But like, I must confess, I think sometimes it is really important to breach out of that, because I've had the most fun that I've ever had doing my year of chaos this year. Where at the beginning of the year, for anyone that's like, Death Guard Meta Chaser, I literally posted on my Instagram on like January the 1st, like a symbol of like half a word bearer symbol and half a Death Guard symbol, because like I was intending to do both this year as like a sort of straight. And it's crazy that in July I would have had both kind of done, you know, like both like in full swing, which I'm kind of ahead of schedule for in a way. But like, which is good because then I can fucking do Beastman. But like, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. To the point where it's scaring me, where I'm like, actually, I'm having more fun arguably playing these than my Dark Angels right now. To the point where the first time it's ever happened, I'm doing second time, because I did the team event. I'm doing a non-Dark Angels event where I'm playing Death Guard at an event. It's going to be
awesome. I hope you enjoy it and gel with the faction, you know. So we'll see how you get on. But
unless they have an update between then and now, I'm sure I get like some snide comments that are like, that sounds a bit
meta chasing. You are a bit of a chaser.
And I'm like, well, I had to put up with fucking Gene Stealer Winter last year, so fuck off. Like Gene Stealer Cult Winter. But it was like that December tournament where I got rinsed by a Gene Stealer Cult player who ended up winning the entire thing, and I was just like, well, this isn't fun. So I get to actually be Billy Big Bollocks and throw my Death Shroud around like they're fucking nuclear bombs. That's going to be fucking well good.
It's going to be awesome. Good. But yeah, let us know, guys. Are you faction loyal? Like, do you jump around armies, or do you just stick with your one, and why? What, you know, that's what we want to know. It's interesting to hear your opinions as well. Leave us a comment.
The greatest Primarch said, loyalty is its own reward. But let us know. Let us know your thoughts.
Greatest Primarch.
Yeah.
Middest Primarch.
Oof. I was expecting more, if I'm honest. Like, that was quite a weak source response, but you carry on. It's all good. So, most grim. We got a Patreon question here. Thank you, our glorious Patreons. The most Grimdark models ever.
Yeah.
The days of yore with the old Trench Crusade. By the way, there's that really funny Instagram video. I can't remember what it is. Where it's like GW being like, "Oh, we got the new Amazon TV show and stuff like that." There's another dude behind a laptop, and is like, you know, it's sort of, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And the guy's like looking at Trench Crusade. And he's like, oh, the Crusades. And then the guy's like, we're Grimdark. Like, don't go anywhere. Like, all the things I've done for you and money. And you and money. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like really funny. And
exactly.
Yeah, mostly money. But like, you know, obviously we live in a world now of Grimdark turned up to 11 of like Trench Crusade-y gnarliness, right? But 40k is still very much associated with the Grimdark thematic concept. And like what our most grim-darky models that we can think about. But please let us know. Let us know your thoughts in case we missed.
Yeah, please do. And Games Workshop model designers, if you are listening, up your game because you're pussies with your lack of grimdark stuff at least recently.
I will counter that point. I actually am cool with it because we have Trench Crusade now.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like we don't want to lose the cool stuff. Like, I feel like 40k is almost going a little bit toonish is maybe the word.
Yeah, it's a fair
toonification of 40k.
But then you get some really beautiful sculpts,
stuff. Oh, don't get me wrong, the sculpts are beautiful. Like I can't complain about the sculpts; they're gorgeous, but they are very, specifically designed to not be too terrifying or gory.
Well, it's like Farsight is a good example, right? Where he's on that base with like the cherry blossoms and shit. And that is anti-Grimdark, but it's still a lovely model, right?
Oh, it's looking amazing, yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll talk about... Anyway, we'll talk about some of our favourite, what we still consider to be quite grim-dark fights.
There are loads. There are loads.
Shall I start with the ultimate
start, yeah. You lead the way, mate.
Which is in all fairness, a very modern one.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite characters in the whole of, 40k history. And it is, of course, Asmodai, as we've already discussed on the channel. Grimdark to the max. And
he's awesome.
Definitely counting the smoke in this.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be with the smoke.
And the mask. And the threatening pose. Right. He just looks so, imposing.
Well, he's also got a fallen skull that's being, punctured by that sword, right? He's got the ultimate, fuck you Grimdark sculpt where he's just in that place and he's just bring it on. But it's all that oozy smokeness, the moodiness really of cool. it, right? It radiates that grim darkification of yesteryear. And he's so moody looking.
I wish he was better on the tabletop, much like the Terminator Captain, because those two really should be on there, and they're not currently, which is rubbish.
Yeah, no, it's not good, man. It sucks that they're so bad, but then we also get something. Rubbish. Azrael's amazing, so wow.
Yeah, Azrael's cool.
But yeah, I mean, Asmodai is my first choice.
Nice, good choice.
Yeah, very grimdark.
I'm going to go a slightly different direction. My first choice is a model for the Adeptus Sororitas, which is Penitent engines. Those things are dark as fuck.
Yeah, man.
I think that they're just so... the concept behind what they are is just so grim. They're basically, ecclesiastical... Hang on a minute. It's ecclesiastical. I can't say that word. Ecclesiastical.
I've never said that out loud.
No, ecclesiastical prisoners. Okay, there we go. That have been literally strapped into machines where they are pretty much in their pants, and they're all hosed in and sort of screwed into these machines, so they're all exposed, and they basically pump full of drugs and just sent in, and they just get all of the gunshots that are going off hitting them and stuff, and they're pumped full of all this anti-pain medication and just keeps them alive through sheer adrenaline. It must be a horrific experience for them.
Well, I don't even think they've got anti-pain medication. It's just purely because the machine is fueled by their suffering. So the more that they suffer, the more powerful the machine becomes, right? So I think actually if they feel pain, it's not a problem. Weirdly, though, I think if it was a true grim dark thing, they'd be naked, right? I don't think they'd have any clothes on at all.
Yeah, but I mean, they're pretty much as naked as Games Workshop will allow,
We'll
so,
go. That's a great choice, man. And you get to see them, they're suffering on their face.
Yeah,
the sort of, the way that they're strapped in and, all, injected in the back of them and
it's
stuff.
Crucified on the front
horrible.
of this thing. It's horrible, yeah.
Yeah, it's very much that actually, isn't it? Because they're kind of what? It's very crucifixion-y vibes.
Yeah.
It does have that
it's
resonant
dark.
energy.
So I love
very
those.
Dark.
I think they're wicked.
Grimdark, one would say.
Some might say.
On a similar kind of thing, I've got the old Dark Commune from CSM, which for me looks so grim-darky, where you've got some really gnarly shit going on with that model, including a standard bearer that's a psyker that's is half of his body is on a stick, essentially.
His head's all lifted off, isn't it? It's just grim.
Yeah.
It's absolutely rank, that is.
It's all very self-persecuted and really horrendous and kind of like hoodie culty looking.
Yeah, they
Like,
look
you know,
like,
yeah, like-
the Witch King of Angmar vibes I get from the
Yeah.
dudes with the swords. They really look like ring wraiths almost.
But again, they just have that like vibe of like we're dark, we're evil.
Yeah, they do.
Don't mess with us. We do
Very
some
cool.
like awful shit. Like we do some like mega awful stuff.
And we'll
that
do
you'll
it to
never come
you.
around. Yeah, exactly. Come here, you. Do you know what I mean? Like come and part of our dark experiments. And just really cool looking, like, and have that intimidation factor. Do people put them with those accursed cultists as
Yes.
well? Do they hang out with them? Yeah,
That's
that
traditionally
unit
known as
looks so
ACDC,
gnarly.
Accursed
AC/DC,
Cultists,
yeah.
and then Dark Commune. And they've been nerfed a few times. Yeah, they've been nerfed a few times because they were bonkers before, but now they're not quite as good. They're still decent, though, I think, in certain
Hey, people
attachments.
still run them in armies, though.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
people
yeah.
still
They
run them
do.
in, like,
They're just not as nuts as they were. So, pretty good.
Yeah, very cool. That's my second choice.
My second choice is a
Carry on.
recent model, Lucius the Eternal. He wigs a lot of people out. That model,
he's
because
scary.
they have gone
Fucking
really
nipple whip.
they've gone really gross with him, and like his tongue is all like like down his
Oh, yes.
shoulder, and he's just
Oh,
gross.
it's a tongue whip, actually, isn't it? It's not a nipple whip. It's a tongue whip.
Well, he's got a
Yeah,
whip,
like-
and then his tongue's just hanging out like down his armor, and he's just all scarred up, and he just looks rank, to be honest with you.
He does
and I
look
think
rank. He does
look
completely
really rank. Like you just look at him and you're like, oh fuck, what a sinister looking dude. Like, ugh.
Considering
he's
he's
a
like
great
a
model
nuclear
for-
bomb of a unit as well, that you just like chuck
Yes.
him out, fights first. Do you know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere near that fucking weirdo. Like he's just like,
No
he
thanks.
looks really
He's
weird.
he's in the
He looks
terrain,
really
like
weird.
ready to harangue, like, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I think I'll leave him.
He does personify his patron very well, right? And the
Does,
same
yeah.
to all of like what I would consider the like champions of the Big Four, right? So not
Yeah.
like the Primarchs, but like you got like Ahriman, Khan,
Yeah.
Typhus, and Lucius. That for me
Yeah.
like represent that faction, and all of which kind of personify their gods of choice,
Yeah.
right?
He's
But,
like one of the most
Lucius is
grimdark
just a
models they've done
creeper.
recently as well. Like,
Such
you know,
a creepy fuck.
he is creepy. He's real creepy. I love him. So that's my second choice.
Oh, nice. He's got a good pose as well. And some iron hands on the base that I didn't realise until we
Yeah,
noticed
nice.
Apollo's, right?
Yeah,
That's
beautiful,
The
that
sort
is.
of like iron hand. It's
Yeah.
so nice. Like,
So good.
kudos, Apollo. And that nice one.
Yeah,
mate.
well
Very
done,
cool
mate, well
friend
done.
of the channel.
Yep.
Okay, similar kind of thing of my patron god, Death Shroud Terminators as mine.
Yeah.
Like, big old scythes, man. What are
Yeah.
they for? Reaping
Reaping.
bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Reaping. Like,
Reap the
reaping bodies.
whirlwind,
Can you
baby.
just imagine, like, that going into a unit of guardsmen? Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? You got
it'd
like
be
a
fucking
unit of
horrific.
humans. You got like,
This miasma of
Yeah,
like
like-
of flies and
Ugh.
stuff, and then out of it just walks these plodding terminators, and they just start just mowing people down left and right.
scything.
Yeah,
And like
oh, it's
from their
terrifying.
gauntlets, like putrid, burning
Ugh.
pus coming out of their gauntlets
Mm-hmm.
as well, right? It's just gonna be like humans just screaming, like just
it's awful.
screaming. You either get melted or scythed in twain.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's that's just a scythe
It's
is
horrific.
such a cool weapon.
It
Such
is.
a cool weapon. Because like the
Yeah.
only like the adaptation of like a peasantry concept to like, oh yeah, that's bodies now. It's just like the most gnarly fucking thing.
Your
isn't
slush.
It, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like wheat. And just their
Good choice.
intimidation factor. Thank you.
Yeah.
And their intimidation factor, the fact that they just look like.
I love
You're
all the
never
like
gonna
little
kill me.
vents and stuff they have as well. Little flies coming out. They're just great.
Yeah, constantly putrid messes.
Mm.
But also because I'm a moody boy, and of course Dark Angel logic, like the hoods, right? The fact you don't know what they
Yeah.
are, you know who they
Yeah.
are. Like, their identity has always been a secret, right? Because
Yeah, it's
that's how
wicked.
they operate. And yeah, just an occasional tentacle that comes out of their body and like wraps around that scythe as well.
Yeah.
Just so cool. And of course, one of the best Cataphracti marks of Terminator, Cataphracti Terminator mark is arguably the best mark of Terminator armor. We both love a bit of Cataphracti action. So you still get that nod to like actually them being an old school Terminator mark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love it. Love them so much. They're such a cool range of models. And yeah, they just need more posability, please. But whatever, you can't. have
Yeah.
everything, I suppose.
So my last pick, it's a sort of type of unit in general, but like if I had to specify one of them, it's servitors, and I think Cataphron breaches, for example, like the whole idea of this just like rolling. They're on treads. They're like lobotomized, either prisoners or like grown clones, etc. That are just like rolling forwards, just exterminating everything and just like mincing stuff mindlessly.
It's
like
dark. It's very Terminator. You can just imagine human skulls underneath those tracks. It's like dun 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 dun, right? Like
crunch.
In the background.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just and personifies the Mechanicum, right? Which is like flesh is weak. Like like let's make this thing as near to of a walking tank.
I love how like obviously after the the Men of Iron, they had the whole ban on AI. So like the Mars was just like, oh, fuck it, we'll just stick people in there then. Just use them.
Which makes it arguably 1,000 times more grimdark.
It's disgraceful, and like they're in. Some of them are like sort of semi-aware and in horrific pain / anguish / Can you imagine? Oh God, fuck that. That'd be like being stuck in just a shell and just having to experience that for however many years.
At least with a dreadnought, there's some sort of nobility there, right? A dreadnought is kind of noble,
exactly,
unless you're a chaos dreadnought, arguably, right? But like an imperial dread, like it's a great honor. Like you're oiled, you're oiled up. Do you know what I mean? But also like you can be socially like talked, consulted and stuff, right? And then when you're not in combat, you're like allowed to sleep. At least you're allowed to rest. Do you know what I mean? These fuckers, that they're like constantly working all the time. Yeah, fuck it, it's fine. Just put another body in there, it's fine.
It's horrifying. I think they're arguably the darkest thing in 40k, but like changed my mind.
Do you know, on reflection, I think you're on a kind of good idea.
I'm sure there are a few other things that are pretty dark, but like they're a contender at the very least.
Contender. I think they represent darkness. They might not look it, but on the surface, but
it's
they
almost
are
like that abandonment of humanity and like that just sort of disregard for the soul. It's just horrific. What's your last pick?
My last one is one that you'll know very well, although I think you wanted to kill the actual modelling process of these, which is, of course, flayed ones.
Yeah.
Which, again, you look at them on face value and they're like, oh, they're just Necrons with some rags on or whatever. And then you realise that, oh, no, that's human skin. And, like, they're just wearing, like, human skin draped over them and stuff. And you're like, oh, God. And they're, like, spindly. And they're almost, like, hiding underneath it as well. Like, hiding underneath the skin, aren't they? They're kind of like, yeah. They're kind of just like, don't look at me. Yeah, I am human, actually. Do you know what I mean? And their long nail claws are just fucking weird.
No one's more terrified of flayed ones than the Necrons themselves, which is hilarious, to be honest with you. Because obviously, they can get into their heads and start, like, fucking with their Dispharac stuff. So they start to, like, infect them with that, like, that necessity to go back to the flesh ways. Oh, it's horrific.
The flesh ways. The fleshy ways.
It's almost like it gets into their head and then it starts to like build and like sort of infect them in some way. And then over time, they start to desire this need for consuming flesh.
So
if you like flayed ones, go and read the Twice Dead King novels, because those things, they have got some graphic descriptions of some of the flayed ones and shit in there, and they are vile. Like, I'm not going to spoil it because they're such good books. So go and read those or listen to them on Audible.
Horrific.
Yeah, good choice.
Love that. Thank you very much. Again, please let us know yours. There's bound to be loads that we won't read in the comments and then go like, oh yeah, fucking hell, that's an obvious one that we've obviously missed. So this is a hobby-based question.
Yep.
Times we've leveled up our painting. And what projects / models they were, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll go first with this one.
Yep.
I would say for me, it was Dark Angel's Cream.
Oh,
AKA...
You made a Rob hearing about that.
Oh, God. I love Terminators. I can't get enough of Terminators. Dark Angel's Cream, the Deathwing Cream, and doing that over a long period of time and how to approach that and how to make that work for me, right, was just going, God damn, like, how do I make this so that I don't actually want to die? And I've got so many of them.
And you were like, I know what I could do. Why don't I make it a half scheme or, like, put a checker pattern or, like, you're a maniac. You brought that on yourself. So
I did. Or like the Deathwing Knights, which are patches.
Yeah, you're a lunatic. I don't know why you would
like
ever do something like that. I bet you got through the first one and you were like, I shouldn't have done this. I should not have done that.
I can't believe you've done this. But you know, approaching that kind of thing is so hard. And like, we've discussed it on the channel before. Light colours are brutal. Creams, whites, yellows, bright pinks.
Horrific.
Do you know what I mean? Like, bleh. Like, horrible, horrendous. And just bleh. And like working out a way of making that not so that I don't want to stop halfway through and go like, I don't want to do this. Ironically,
it's almost like you get most of your models to 80% and then stop for that very reason.
It's fine because it just means that in the future I just nail them all out and they'll look fantastic.
It's like that 80% of a Death Guard army you had.
Well, no, not anymore though.
No, it's almost finished.
Done.
Yeah,
done.
Good lad.
Yeah. Good lad. You go.
Very proud of you. So I would say it was actually weirdly halfway through doing my Necrons because I did like a load of painting for an event when I first did the scheme, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I ended up basically having a nightmare because I overcomplicated the scheme, and I think that when I went back to do them again and to add more to them, I had to like go back to my roots and kind of break the scheme down, break the colours down, and figure out a new way of doing it that was going to be much quicker going forwards because I had, as you've seen, like 10,000 points of them to paint over the last three or 4 years. So that was like a big one for me. Was actually, it's not so much that I leveled up my ability to paint, it was that I leveled up my sort of process of figuring out how to paint. And I think that that's quite important, as we touched on before, is trying to figure out a scheme that is not only cool looking, but actually doesn't break your back. You know, it's like with you and your quarters and all that shit. Like, only do that if you're doing like a character, there's one of them, or you really are committed to it for like a squad or something. That's fine, but you're going to have a hard time doing that across an army. It's like people who do checker pattern on bloody orcs, like, you know, 100 orc boys with checker shoulder pads. Kill me now. Like,
I mean, that's worse, arguably, because that's a horde army.
It's a lot
too.
Worse, yeah.
At least with Dark Angels and stuff, what I was talking about, like, at least though you're elite, right? So you're not going to be doing too many.
But I took that forward. I took that forwards into my GSC and arguably made that army a lot easier to paint. It's still hard to paint because there's a lot of them, but like it makes it so much simpler when you've got like a planned out scheme that cuts as many corners as humanly possible, so that you don't need to keep backing and forthing with different paints and, you know, bits and bobs. And also, I unify glow effects now across the models a lot. So like all of the glows on my weapons on the GSC are the same glows as the eyes and the claws, and for my Alpha Legion all the glows on their weapons are the same glows as like eyes on their armor and eyes on their face and lenses and, you know, etc. And I think that really saves time, and it also just looks good because then you're not like looking at a really busy model. It's nice and clean cut, you know. So that's why when I probably leveled up the most.
Nice. My next one for this is Chaos Space Marine trim.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You should have done it reverse.
And hazard stripes.
Oh.
I must confess, right? I think for me the problem with doing the reverse trim concept that you do, is that that's fine if you want a metallic based base coat on the armor underneath. What
do you mean?
Right?
As in, like, you want it gunmetal? So if you want a
flat colour, if you want, like, a flattish kind of colour, where, like, don't get me wrong, it looks cool, but, like, for me, the highlights are quite minimal. But when I did my word bearers, I wanted the red to pop more, and for the trim to be, like, a counterbalance to that, right?
Right.
So, obviously, what I did was do, like, a dry brushy style highlight scheme for, like, the main part component, which meant that I didn't have to retrospectively go back and highlight it.
Sure.
And then do the trim around it.
Yeah.
And I just prefer that. It also raged me because I did try your scheme and my Dark Apostle, and I always found that, like, if I did accidentally go over and hit a trim that I'd already done, that even with a bit of recovery or whatever, like you still get a little bit of bleed of colour.
Nah.
I always know it's there. I just always know it's kind of there.
So when I do it, the way I do it is I go over with the blue or red or whatever the pad colour is, the armour colour is, and then once I've done all of that, I go straight back over the models, and all I do is I take like a bolt gun metal style colour, whatever like is a sort of intermediary one, and I just lightly touch out those bits, and you won't ever notice them. Honestly,
but then
I can't see any of the
painting trim again.
No, but you're not. You're like, because the tidier you are in the inking process, the less work there is to do. So, like, if you don't make any mistakes, you don't have to tidy it up. Like, most of my models will have, like, 5 bits that I've nicked or caught or, whatever. And I'll just touch those in and I'm done. It's easy.
I totally get that. I think, though, for me, it is kind of like, this sounds really sadomasochistic, but it's kind of like a dark rite of passage for your damnation.
Don't get me wrong, like inking armor panels in is tricky work sometimes. Like it's
but this is
not,
it. It's just a
not
different type of
as
difficulty for me. It's a different kind of difficulty for me, and like it also depends on your coverage, right? Where like I've been switching over to like Wall Paints Fanatic, and their like coverage is fucking nuts. So like my Emperor's Gold, all jokes aside, I do one pass.
Yeah.
I do one pass of that shit over my trim, and it's done. Yeah. And it looks fucking awesome, right? And also when I then ink that trim, it needs that dark recess in it, and it just looks so like so strong in regards to like how it looks. That I don't know, just the result that I get for me on a subjective level is more to my taste.
Sure,
but
that's
also
fair.
like I said, I feel like it's also a rite of passage thing for a Chaos Space Marine player where like you need to do it because it's like it's part of the madness. Do you know what I mean? And then you're like quite proud of what you've achieved afterwards. Where you're like, yeah, I did it, and it looks fit. It looks so nice, and you're just like, oh, that I did that, and my blood, sweat, and tears. And it's like I bled for you, gods. Do you know what I mean? Like there's part of it there where you kind of I don't know. And the other one is of course hazard stripes.
Yes.
Similar kind of thing.
Madness.
Where like I used to avoid hazard stripes like this plague, where now I do them on all of my chainswords. All chainswords that I have are all hazard stripes. From the lowliest scout to like the highest captain, they all have hazard stripes on because I'm a 90s boy and I'm just all about that life. And to begin with, I was like, this is impossible. Like, this is just impossible. And then you just figure out a method.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get really good at like freehanding stripes and stuff, and it just you level that shit up, and you're like, actually, that looks dope.
Practice makes perfect,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Always, always, always. Any closing thoughts on this subject?
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that will end up going down different routes with their painting. It might be that you suddenly discover airbrushing and you find that really ups your game.
True.
Like I know I've had that with a couple of my mates, like Males, who's been on the channel on the Battle Barn a couple of times. He's done so well with his airbrushing. Like he's done loads of good stuff with his knights, and he's done Morty, and like it speeds things up for a lot of people. Yeah, he's a good lad. So I
love him.
Yeah.
He's really good.
That's like just find your way through things basically.
One closing one, which I think you could also relate to because you're very good at this, and it's creating a very nice centerpiece model and sitting back and going, right, I'm going to put 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours into this centerpiece model, right? Because I think me and you are quite good at centerpiece models, actually, where like some centerpiece examples that I'm really proud of in the past are like the lion, my demon prince that will be on the battle barn soon. Baloo's the Blighted, right?
Yeah.
He does have a nameplate as well.
Of course he does.
And I associate some of your Necron centerpieces as well. Like your Silent King is a really good example. Your Void Dragon, again, another good example, right? And both of those models in your Necron armies are a joy to behold. But you put a lot of effort into both of them, right? Yeah. And I think it's knowing that, like, right, okay, fuck. This is going to be where the focal point of my attention is going to be looked at on the battlefield. And also, they're cool as fuck models. Let's make them look great. And go
quite daunting sometimes.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Oh, so daunting. So daunting. Especially if any of them are sub-assemblies, which most of them are. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't fuck up Bellicor, right? Don't try. Take your time. Take your time. Like,
better to take your time and do it right than rush it and then be disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I don't think I'm necessarily running Morty so quickly. But then my list doesn't really suit him. But I will spend when I do sit down with him, I'm taking my sweet time. That big old moth boy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's going to be fat and floating around.
Yeah. Love it. Nice.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So there we go. So let us know what things have you... Oh, very quickly, wet stickers.
Yeah, wet stickers are great, yeah. Love a wet sticker.
Put off transfers forever. You kind of go, transfers are lame, I never want to work with transfers, because you've had a bad experience when you were younger, or like that you've fucked one up and you've gone like, I'm never doing this again, kind of vibe, right? But actually, when you just shut up and you get them nailed, you're like, actually, transfers are great.
Microsol, get yourself a little... Microsol, yeah.
That was a game breaker, wasn't it?
Get yourself a little, you know those little dip painting trays. Get yourself one of those. Put a bit of water in. Use that.
Tweezers
goes on really easily. Yeah, I actually use a brush, but like you can tweezer it as well.
Well, yeah, I use a brush to apply as well, but I hold it with tweezers. But like, set yourself up for success with transfers. Like you can fuck transfers up by being a cheapskate and just going straight in dry with like no preparation.
Never go in dry.
No, never go dry. Always Microsol and set it. But like, but if you have all of your appropriate tools, God, it makes that job so easy.
Yeah, and then you can go over it with some varnish. Like when you varnish the model, if you varnish the model, it'll blend it in a bit better. So,
yeah, absolutely. Good. Nice.
Good shout.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that in there.
No, it's a good one.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yep.
Black Library novels that we'd love to see made, or like our pitches for concepts for Black Library novels. Do you have any on this list?
I do, yeah. So I would love to actually go back in time and see the Necron war against the Catan when they rebelled against them and sort of took them out. Because the Catan, when they were at their most powerful, were fucking terrifying space gods, basically. Like, if a shard of a Catan can absolutely obliterate entire armies and, like, takes a huge amount of force to take down, and there's, like, thousands of these shards, or at least hundreds of these shards, like... What the hell was the originals must have been like before they got taken out? And what kind of power and technology did they need to do that? So I would love to see that war against the Catan. I think that would just be really epic. So please do that at some point, Games Workshop, because that'd be wicked.
And also you'd rub shoulders with some really great characters from Necron's lore, right? Where you'd have like your classic suite of Necron. It would be like an Avengers level bring together all the Necron
That was so cool.
Right?
Damn, I wish I could see that shit.
Before everyone got a bit fragmented and nuts and a bit like, get off my lawn style,
before
right?
They all went to bed.
Brought them all together as like heads of their relevant fields, like masters of their fields, to be like consulting with the Silent King of like, what do we do? Like, how do we do this? Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to figure this shit out. Ooh, so that's my first choice. Great one. I'm going to go with a weird one. I'm going to go with a really strange one, right? And I talk to people that love Tyranids all the time. And one of the things that like Tyranid players do, like, because Tyranids have a weird loyalty, as previously discussed with loyalty, where like if you're into your Tyranids, fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean? Like, Tyranid players are nuts. They just love a bit of Tyranid action, right?
Yeah,
like a cult.
Almost.
But like the one complaint that all Tyranid players have is, ironically, not about their old models that need severely updating, or not about the fact that they have to collect a horde army, but their lore in terms of like what novels they have is so limited.
It's also
like,
super focused on the opposition to the Tyranids, right? It's never about the Nids, really.
Yeah. So if you were a Tyranid player, you would open that book and be like, oh, we're the bad guys again. And you are the bad guys, don't get me wrong, but so are Chaos. But you get this weird look about what it's like to be internally chaotic in that regard.
Yeah.
Right? But like Tyranids, you never get that insight. But I genuinely think there is scope for like making a POV styled Tyranid book. And I guess it would break down that aura of mystery, right? But like, I think it would be amazing to go from the perspective of like and I guess it's just so incomparable to like human
I mean, that's the issue. That might be why we don't have a book, is because, you know, if you think about it, they're so incomprehensibly alien that you can't really translate. Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, we've got Day of Ascension as a book, and but I think if you were to look at like pure Tyranids, it'd be really hard to sort of like verbalize what they were doing. You could obviously talk about
unless
it
you
and
did it
show
from a
what they were
third
doing.
party perspective.
Yeah.
Unless you did it from like a third party perspective.
Sure.
But for me it feels a bit AVP, as in like Alien versus Predator video
I know
game
exactly what you
wise.
mean.
Where
Yeah.
like you play as the alien and you like hunt. Imagine like, you know, like coming from the POV of a gene stealer of like hunting your prey and just
Yeah,
like,
it'd be wicked.
and then,
Like, it's a really
moving
cool
around
idea.
in
the shadows.
and then you also get a little bit of insight as to like how the hive mind works.
We need that.
Do you
at
know
some
what I mean?
point,
Like-
right? We need to find out what's going on with the hive mind at some point. So that's a cool one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, even if it wouldn't work, or it'd have to be a novelia or something, right? Like a short story. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not do an entire, but novelia, yeah, like a little novel.
Novella.
Yeah.
Are you adding letters to that word?
Novelia.
It's not as bad as 40 gay. That was funny. You did actually say it.
I said that. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe
Welcome
I
to
said
In the Tank
that.
40 gay. I was like,
Gay,
right,
40 gay.
it's Pride Week, whatever.
Whatever, man. God damn. Obviously, I've got some stuff going on there, but like,
Yeah.
Novelia.
Novella. I think it's novella.
Okay. Does this add that to the dictionary of words that Russ can't say?
Yeah.
Although saying that, I can say chassis better.
Yeah, you can now. Yeah, learn. It can be
chassis.
taught.
It can be taught.
Yeah.
So there we go. Any other ideas for you that you'd like?
I'd love to see what the fuck's going on with Chegorath. However you want to pronounce his name.
Well, I can have a cool, freaky Harlequin story.
Yeah, because I feel like he is
Sekarath.
obviously Sekarath, yeah, whatever the fuck. There's like 3 different ways of saying his name, but like the laughing god, basically.
Not meant for human words.
Yes, exactly. Him. I think that he's a really interesting character in the lore, and he's like one of the only remaining Eldar. I think he's the only remaining Eldari god that's not been fucked up, right?
No, there's
Is there 2?
The healing one is Nurgle's plaything, isn't she?
Oh, okay, right, fine. I mean, that sounds like a pretty dire
Without her,
place to be in.
Nurgle would have taken over the universe, right? Because she
Sure.
secretly secretes the solutions to Nurgle's latest plagues.
The anti-Nurgle
right?
jizz. So yeah, that would be interesting
Cain
to see.
exists in fragments. Cain exists in fragments.
Yeah,
so
he's
he
been
exists
fragmented,
in his
yeah.
avatars.
But yeah, like he's a really interesting character in the lore, and obviously it's all about like the webway, and I think there's a lot of like exploration around the webway that we'd like to see anyway in terms of lore, because it's quite an interesting concept and sort of thing, you know, that can really
cool.
affect the future. Go on.
Not to interrupt you, but you know what would be really cool if you had like a Sekarathi style intro where he kind of breaks the third wall and kind of talks to you as a reader.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
And he's like, look at all of what I can see through my webway, and it like goes to the future where like the throne room is like assaulted by chaos and tyranns, and then another one is Jagatai in the webway like cruising around.
You love that, don't you? Yeah.
And he knows that he's there, and he's like, look there, and then there's this, and then there's like another thing, and he's like, welcome reader to my crazy world in the webway. Do you know what I mean? That'd just be so cool. And he's like breaking the third wall and like talking to you as a reader, and just doing like,
that'd be sick.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nuts. It'd be nuts.
Yeah, it would be wicked.
And as a new Harlequin player, although you need to
Not
sort
very
your
good one.
shit in regard to playing.
I'm a
playing
bit terrible.
Harlequins.
It's a bit hard.
It is a bit hard.
I have had tough
hard when you have
matchups with both
squishy
of my
clowns.
matchups, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's not like easy. All right, I'd like to see you try.
Well, it doesn't help when you leave your fucking backfield completely exposed
I've learned
to
some
be
lessons
ruined
about
by
that.
blood angels.
I learned some lessons about that. All right.
Unfortunately, you did when it was my game, you fucker. Like you all of a sudden,
I
you now
screamed
like,
like
oh, I'm gonna
fucking
scream
crazy
now.
in your game.
I'm
You were
gonna
like,
scream. God, you're gonna.
Lame.
I'll tell you what, mate. You're gonna need to scream against my Death Guard. Holy shit!
oh, I know
my
I am.
God.
It's going to be Stress City.
Scream.
That is. We're going to see what happens. You got any more?
Yes. Some Dark Angel stories.
Yeah.
Because
Just generally?
I'm so ready to like slam my money on the table when we get a Fall of Caliban book, as previously discussed.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a Rangdan Xenocide book, but I don't think that'll ever happen because I think that's why we don't have one of the 2 Primarchs. Although the one thing that I would love, because I'm a weird freak, and after watching the Jugs podcast a few times,
Yeah.
they talk about dreams / fantasies they have when they talk about like lucid dreaming and like the fact that they like dream about fantasy worlds that they put themselves in. And Peachy in particular is hilarious, and he talks about how he's not even like the main character in his own story, where he's like some like guardsman or something, right? Or like a Napoleonic warrior, but he's not Wellington, he's just like some random dude. Whenever I dream about Warhammer, and I always put myself in the 40k universe, I'm always a scout.
Yeah.
And I would love a scout book.
Yeah.
I would love a scout book.
What's the name scout you have in your army? What's he?
Narman.
Narman. Is he still kicking around in the lore or not?
No, he got killed by Gaz, unfortunately, during Armageddon. So, but I've got Narman the Second.
Narman the Second.
Narman.
Aren't you dead? Narman.
Narman. But I'd love to be a scout, right? Because you're enhanced. You're enhanced, but you're like nowhere near. You haven't been Black Carapaced or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like you're an uber human, but you're not like mega strong.
No.
And like, and the shit that you could potentially do could be so cool, right? And
be
like,
very cool.
There's a part of you where you're potentially fighting your gene seed, where like if you were like a Space Wolf Scout or a Blood Angel Scout, there's like that internal bit of you that's like, get in there. Do you know what I mean? Like get up in there. And actually, that's not your purpose. Your purpose is intel and
exactly.
and like relaying information and like
you're thinking about your
objectives.
If you were playing as your faction, the Space Wolves, right? Because obviously you'd be like.
Fuck you! See, it's fun because I get to take out my Carnus Helix in regards to playing Beastman and be a beast boy. I'm a beastman,
exactly.
not a fucking wolf. I'm a beastie, hairy bastard. And that's who I am. And then my son is apparently a space wolf, which hurts me. Every day he wolfs more, every single day.
Amazing.
It hurts my soul.
I love it.
There we go. It's what it is. It's very cute.
Yeah.
You're just going to encourage that shit, aren't you, you freak?
I am.
But there we go.
I am.
But yes, a space wolf novel, a scout novel. God damn, get out of my brain.
Scout novel would be
scout novel. That'd be amazing. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be cool. Yeah.
And they see like a Chaos Dreadnought or whatever, and they're like, should we do it? Should we take it?
Should we take it?
Or should we just hide?
Get the missile launcher out. Pang.
Give it a punt. And then the Dreadnought just turns around and he's like, and they're like, oh fuck.
Oh
like,
shit,
oh, no.
we've done it, boys.
What have we done? What have we done? Like, the crack rocket just bounces off it, and then just like, oh shit, just like warms up its plasma cannon, like.
Sorry, Brother Bonkatus will be behind. Like do you remember the Dreadnought from Space Marine 2, where he just lobs the rocket at the Helldrake?
Rams it. I love it when he just like rams the fucking Gatling gun inside the Hellbrute and then just shoots it from within. It's so cool, so cool. But what novels would you like to see, people?
Yeah, let us know.
Peoples.
It's an interesting one.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. And, in the tank, maybe we might have played our game by the time we have our next episode.
Maybe, yeah. Probably. Let's have a look.
So it's the... I think that's going to be the case.
It depends if we do it on the 15th or the 17th. We seem to be doing it on Thursdays now for some reason. So, yeah, we probably will have just played it. So that'll be exciting. You can hear about it then. Love it.
Yes.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
Dude, dropping my yogurt at the thought
Likewise.
already.
Got to get those Alpha Legion painted, and you got to get those Death Guard painted.
Do you know what? This is ironically going to be the game that I might probably win, but I'm going to try and be as... I'm not going to be as like arrogant.
I love it. This is the game I'm probably going to win. I'm going to try not to be too arrogant, though. He says.
It's my hubris. That
it is always your hubris,
I just need to calm down. I just need to calm down a little bit.
Simmer down.
Do you know what it is? It's the Minamoto... Do you know what it is? It's the Minamoto Musashi method from the Book of Five Rings. I'm trying to be cultured here. Where it's the concept of like the greatest samurai of all time, like the greatest duelist that never lost a duel. And he would always be like asked about how he would always win his duels. And he'd be like, because I will always win my duels. He's like, that's it. That's how
he just knows.
Like, there's no
worked out well
for
you so far.
Lose.
Good mindset to have.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
At least, to be fair, you've had close games.
They've all been close. I'll give you that.
Which to me, they've all been within 5 VP of one another.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I'm not going to get cocky here. I'm winding you up, but like they easily could have lost all of those. So
I'm just going to try and chill out and just use my dark, plodding, death by attrition methodology of like, I'm just going to let you get all passionate. I'm just going to just trudge. I'm just going to trudge forward and just be like, absorb.
I'm just going to be like, tricks.
You can have tricks if you like, but it's going to bounce off my Terminators, mate, like it was nothing.
Can't wait. All right.
7. Doesn't matter if you're re-rolling your wounds and you're
in 2 weeks' time,
6s.
guys, and we'll see you all then. We'll have a lot to talk about by the sounds of it. Can't wait.
And to be fair, Renegade Raiders are quite spicy, so we'll see how
they'll be fun.
Place your bets now. It's like Banzai. Yeah. Place your bets now.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
Who do you reckon's going to win? Please let us know. Who's going to win this time? Warboss John will be like, that's all I want to play.
Hear from
bloody
him,
Maelstrom is Warboss John. That's all I want. That's all I want is to face him.
What if he beats you?
Yeah. Jump off a bridge. No, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Fuck it hell.
Just
sell the Death Guard.
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. He's running bloody a Garganout and Dreads. He's just running pure vehicles.
You're in trouble.
No, I'm not. It'd be fine. I just play the game. Just fucking play the game.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Got a lot of mortal wounds. Got a lot of mortal wounds, mate.
Yeah.
In that army. Stupid how many mortal
wounds.
Yeah,
you have. Yeah. Can't wait. All right, guys. Well, we will catch you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for hanging out. Do leave us a comment down below and let us know what you think about what we've been talking about today, because it's always interesting to hear your feedback.
And check out Ed's beautiful passion project, which is, of course, the Battle Barn. We all love you, Ed. We're rooting for you, mate. We all want you to do exceptionally well.
I was saying at the beginning of this, we had like 500 subs last episode that we did the In the Tank, and now we're over 800, so we're gaining. We're gaining. Nearly 1,000.
Gains. Get those gains.
Yeah. Get them gains. Sweet as nuts. We'll see you soon, guys. Love you all.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.